Hello students, this is Debarchana Raut, lecturer in computer science. So in our previous slides, we have been discussing about the multi-core processors. We have discussed dual-core processor, we have discussed quad-core processor, and currently we were discussing about the different generation of processors and what are the different processing powers, or what are the different factors that affect the processing powers of these processors. So lastly we have discussed about the table, about the factors, that is number of cores, that how many cores are present in this processor, the clock speed, what is the speed of the system, the cache memory, the hyper-threading, that is implementation of multitasking capabilities simultaneously at one point of time, turbo boost quality, that is to check the maximum thermal design power or the maximum power consumed. So we will discuss that. In i3 processor, we have basically dual processors, that is the number of cores are 2. Whereas in core i5 and i7 processors, we use quad-core processors, that is 4 number of processors. The clock speed, we can see that with respect to i3 and i7, the clock speed of i5 generation processors are bit lesser, whereas in i3 the maximum clock speed is 4.2 GHz, so as in core i7 it is to 4.2 GHz, but in i5 it is maximum for about 3.8 GHz. Let's come to the hyper-threading property, that is the i5 does not support hyper-threading property, whereas in i3 and i7 it supports the hyper-threading property. Next is the turbo boost, which is not supported by the core i3 processor but is supported by the core i5 and i7 processors. And the maximum of cache memory we can get in the latest generation of processor, that is core i7 processor, as comparative to the old processors, that is 3rd generation and 5th generation of processors. So despite of that, we actually need to discuss that what type of processor is best for a user, how we are going to choose a processor for our use or for any basic objective. So this is the table which speaks about each processor and what is its best for. So it discusses about i3, i5 and i7 processor. The physical number of cores we have already discussed, that in i3 we basically use dual core processor, but in i5 and i7 we use up to quad core processors, that is 4 number of processor. So let's come to the topic that if we basically need a processor with a economic choice or of less price or of low price, so we can go for Intel Core i3 processor. It is good for browsing the web, using the Microsoft Offices, making video calls and social networking. But if we are using for a better graphics or for better gaming performance, we can go for Intel Core i5 processor. It is a mid-range of graphic. It is provides up to 3 MB to 6 MB of cache memory. It can support up to quad-core processor, dual-core and quad-core processor. So this is a balance between the performance and its price. It is good for gaming, and it is also good for graphic processors. Let's come to the Intel Core i7 processor. It is basically very good for the graphics, very good for the turbo boost. It is good at hyper threading too. It can use the cache memory, best in cache memory, up to 4 MB to 8 MB of cache memory. The price is little bit expensive, but it is very good at multitasking with several windows at same point of time. We can run multiple applications, and it's also basically it is good in hyper threading, and comparatively, as per the work, it's obviously little bit larger or greater in economic, that is, it is expensive in price than the Intel Core i3 processor and Intel Core i5 processor. So these were some basic properties from which we can choose according to our objective, according to our use, how can we choose a processor. So next we will be talking about AMD processor. So AMD processor, or advanced micro device processor, is exclusively another type of processor as like Intel. So it provides excellent performance as per its value. It is compatible with most of the self-computer programs and applications. Some of the ATM computer processor are programmed with built-in antivirus software. So these are some of the features of our advanced micro devices processor. The basic specification, we can say that its base clock speed is of 3.4 GHz and maximum turbo frequency is of 3.8 GHz. Besides that, it features 10 compute cores divided up to 4 CPU cores and 6 GPU cores, and also has 4 MB of level 2 of cache memory. So it is very good in the graphic processing units. We can choose this processor for any graphic application. Besides that, the cache memory is also of a good amount, that is 4 MB of level 2 cache memory. Let's first of all little bit discuss about what is level 1 and what is level 2 of cache memory. So basically in single processors we basically use L1 cache memory or level 1 cache memory in the CPU cores, single CPU cores. It is found at the back side of the bus interfaces. It is generally much faster than the RAM speed, and basically L1 is built on the microprocessor chip itself, but L2 or level 2 is a separate cache memory which is much more larger than the L1 cache memory. It is found at the front side bus interface of the cache memory. So it is an advanced it is an advanced feature we normally find in the multiprocessors, that is level 2 of cache memory. Besides that, in this it provides, we have already discussed, it provides 4 MB of L2 cache memory and 256 KB of L1 cache, inbuilt L1 cache memory. Having 4 CPU cores in this, it allows the processor to run multiple programs simultaneously without slowing down without showing any less performance or without slowing down the system, while its 4 threads also allows a basic ordered sequence of instructions to be passed through or by a single CPU core. And we have already discussed, with 4 CPU cores it has 6 GPU cores which supports integrated AMD graphic ports, or we can say Radeon R7 graphics, which which provides output video to a wide variety of external displays using its display ports, that is for about 1.2 and 1.4A ports. So these were about the different processors we have been discussing, and different type of processors. In our next slides we will be discussing detailed about the chipsets, that what is a chipset, what is how it is combined as the north bridge and south bridge, what are the functions of north bridge and south bridge. So this much for this slide. Thank you.